Potential UFO leaks might have been sitting under our noses since 2014. A mysterious account on Twitter and YouTube under the name Regicide Anon has posted multiple UAP videos that only recently gained traction on social media. The first and most detailed of these videos shows footage from a perspective similar to that of a Russian fighter jet hitting an MQ-9 drone, which was released earlier this year. I must warn you beforehand that the implications of the video are massive and disturbing. Initially, we can see what appears to be forward-looking infrared footage of a commercial plane making an abrupt turn. The camera operator then tries to zoom and follow the aircraft as best as possible. Shortly afterward, 3 spherical UFOs come into view, surrounding the aircraft and circling it. If this isn't a hoax, one can only imagine what the pilot is thinking right now. At this point, the camera is fully zoomed in, and we can see decent detail of the event. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, the airplane vanishes into thin air. Right away, there was speculation that the plane in question was Malaysia Airlines flight MH370, known for its tragic and unsolved crash that occurred the same year. Based on the data displayed at the bottom of the screen in the second video from the channel, individuals were able to pinpoint the coordinates and the satellite involved in capturing the footage. Indeed, the relay satellite was identified as NROL-22. Here's the second video displayed alongside the infrared footage.
In the public domain is what the military ground radars were seeing. We have an area of relatively high tension politically. So we have Malaysia, Cambodia, Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, Burma, Singapore could all have their radars working, but we don't know what they've seen. And one reason for not saying what they've seen is that it would be to declare their military capability to the other people around them. However, this aircraft should have appeared on several military radars for a considerable period of time, but we just don't know where these radars are or what their capability is to track the aircraft. That could be found put into the public domain.
Even more remarkably, the Malaysian Air Force publicly stated that they had detected unidentified blobs on radar just before the disappearance.
The last plot, after several intermittent primary plots, there's a last plot that happened at 0215. We shall look into the recording on the radar that we have, and we realized that there is a possibility the aircraft did make a turn back.
When we look at the recording, it proves that there is a possibility that this aircraft made a turn back.
It could just be a coincidence, but in the official report that came out years after the video, it's mentioned that the plane disappeared for 37 seconds on multiple radar systems at the same time. The exact same amount of time between the first UFO closing in and the plane disappearing. The most compelling counter-argument against the first video pertains to the shape of the drone on the left. It seems to have edges and lacks intricate detail resembling a low polygon model. However, the MQ-9 drone's nose isn't perfectly round, and some of the apparent edges could be artifacts from the infrared system. All around the debunking has been inconclusive. For instance, when Googling UFO plane abduction, the first result leads to a fact check of the event. They are claiming the satellite responsible for capturing the footage was launched after 2014, but the wrong satellite is mentioned. Before drawing any conclusions, let's remember that the now famous unclassified Navy UFO videos were leaked long before they were officially acknowledged by the government. Skeptics dismissed them as CG and fake initially. For instance, many would consider this SpaceX footage CG even though it is entirely real and official. Our minds struggle to comprehend things that appear impossible. Here is the third and final video I'm a bit more skeptical of extracted from the YouTube channel.
According to this entry's intake form, it was confiscated from the Kodiak Military History Museum on the 7th of November, 1993. I'd love to have seen this before it got so degraded. It looks like very little care was taken to preserve the footage before it was donated to the museum. You'll notice that it seems to go into fast forward partway through. This is because the capture frame rate was slowed down midway through the shot. I think this may have been the end of a film reel. Some film cameras are made to slow the reel when it gets close to reaching the end. It helps keep the film strip from being damaged when it finishes. The side effect is when you play it back, footage captured at a slower frame rate appears like it's in fast forward when it's displayed at a normal frame rate. Here I have adjusted it to compensate. It's choppy because there aren't as many frames per second, but I think this roughly represents real time.
Some have speculated that the speech pattern closely resembles that of UFO whistleblower David Grush.
I have a few more World War II era film reels that I have to work through, but I need to digitize them first before I process and post them.
I have taken every step I can to corroborate this evidence over a period of 4 years while I was with the UAP task force and do my due diligence on the individual sharing it. This is because of these steps, I believe strongly in the importance of bringing this information before you. I am driven by a commitment of both to truth and transparency, rooted in our inherent duty to uphold the United States Constitution and protect the American people.
Have human beings been hurt or killed by a non-human intelligence?
While I can't get into the specifics because that would reveal certain U.S. classified operations, I was briefed by a few individuals on the program that there were malevolent events like that.
Regarding Grush's voice, listen to this clip.
Again, look for new videos on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and check out the rest of the content on my channel.
I highly doubt that someone from the intelligence community like David Grush would make such a statement to promote a video. In my personal opinion, the narrator is not Grush. I also believe that the two events may not necessarily share the same source. Lastly, I'd like to highlight that the third video bears a striking resemblance to the Skinny Bob videos. Or is that just my perception? Before I conclude, I want to emphasize that if the MH370 videos prove to be authentic, it could be the worst possible outcome for disclosure, potentially skewing everything toward a narrative of threat. This could also be counterintelligence to push the narrative that aliens are a menace. Let's not precipitate a conflict that we may not be able to win without first obtaining all the facts.